He said me he was tired. She said she comes tomorrow. If you can't find the error with these sentences, don't worry. You are not alone. Today we are mastering reported speech. We are going to learn exactly how to transform someone's words so you sound natural and fluent. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alice and this is English with Alice B, where you can come to learn English in a clear and simple way without the stress. By the end of this video, you will understand what reported speech is, how to use it, and how to backshift. This is something that will make sense a little later on in the video. I'm going to explain all the mistakes that I hear as an English tutor and how you can avoid them. Let's talk English. So, what is reported speech exactly? This is what we use when we want to talk about what someone else has said. We are reporting their speech. Reported speech. Direct speech is what we use when we repeat someone's words exactly. In written English, we can use quotation marks to show this. For example, Sarah said, "I am happy." But in real conversation, we use indirect or reported speech. This is when we report the meaning of what someone has said, and we don't necessarily quote what they said word for word. For example, Sarah said she was happy. So, why do we do this? This is because the original conversation, where Sarah told me that she was happy, it happened in the past. To stay accurate, we have to change the grammar a little bit to reflect this. We move away from now and we go back to then. This is the foundation of clear communication. You can use direct speech, of course. Sarah said, "I am happy." This is understandable. You're telling a story and you're quoting the words. But if you want to improve your level of English, if you want to sound more fluent and more advanced, you need to use reported speech. So, how do we do this? The most important part of reported speech is the backshift. You can think of this like a staircase. Every time we report something, the verb has to go backwards a step. It takes one step down into the past. So let's look at the three most common steps. If someone has spoken in the present simple, we push this back to the past simple. For example, if the direct speech was, "I like coffee," this can be reported as, "He said he liked coffee." See what happens to the verb? It's gone from the present simple into the past simple. Let's try another tense. Let's imagine the direct speech is, "I am studying." The reported version of this would be, "She said she was studying." The verb to be has gone back a tense. And finally, a common mistake. How do we talk about will? If the direct speech was, "I will help you," in reported speech, this becomes, "He said he would help me." Notice how will becomes would. This is a very common mistake for students. So remember, if you hear will in direct speech, it almost always becomes would in reported speech. Now, it's not just the verbs that change. We also have to change our perspective. If Mark says, "I lost my phone," and you report it, you aren't Mark. You have to remember this. He probably used the pronoun I. "I lost my phone." But if you're talking about this, you need to remember you have to change the perspective. You would say, "Mark said he had lost his phone." So, how do you know which pronoun to use? This is very easy if you know your pronouns in English. Mark is male. So, if we're reporting what he has said, we must say, "He said he lost his phone." If Julia said, "I lost my phone," we need to change that a little bit. Julia is female, so we must use she. She said she lost her phone. If both Mark and Julia say, we lost our phones, we have to change the pronoun again. We have to make it plural. They said they lost their phones. So keep this in mind. Who is telling the story? Are they male, female? Is it a single person or a group of people? Always check your pronouns to make sure that your story makes sense. Oh my goodness, where did the sun go? It's very dark all of a sudden. The light has completely changed. Wow. Okay. Remember, when we tell stories, often the when and the where is important. Here becomes there. Today becomes that day. Yesterday becomes the day before. Changing these words helps to keep your story accurate. So, let me give you a clear example of this. Let's imagine I'm talking with my friend and she tells me today, on Friday, she says, Alice, yesterday I found a new job. So, the day before, she found a new job. If I was reporting this a few days or a few weeks later, I might say, my friend told me that she had found a job the day before. Why? I can't say yesterday because now we're not talking about the same day. I have to put it back to that day from the perspective of that day. Let's do another example. If my friend tells me, today I will start my new job. And again, a few weeks later, I am reporting this speech. I have to say, she told me that she was starting her new job that day. I cannot say today. It's two completely different days now. If I say that day, you understand that I'm putting the story back into that place. Perspective is important. So finally, then, we have to talk about the reporting verb. This is the word that we use to introduce the story. We use say or tell. Remember, you say something, but you tell someone. The grammar changes just a little bit. I have actually done a video on this already, which you can find here. But very briefly, if you want to use the verb to say, you can immediately follow that with what was said. He said he was ready. He said he was busy. He said he would call me. If you want to use the verb to tell, it has to be followed by a person. He told me he was busy. He told us he would come to the party. You may have heard the word that being used in reported speech. This is perfectly fine. You can use it or you can omit it. It doesn't change the context or the meaning of the sentence. I will add, using that does make things sound a little bit more formal, and it can be used to separate the reporting verb from the speech. But you can say, he said he was busy, he said that he was busy. Both are fine. A mistake I hear often is he said me. We don't say this. There is an exception. Sometimes we don't need to do the back shift. This happens when the reporting verb, so say or tell, is in the present. We use this to express the fact that the information is still true or is still relevant now. For example, the doctor says, I need to rest. Because the doctor has given you that advice and it's still relevant for now, you need to rest now. So we keep the verb in the present. If the reporting verb is in the present, then the reported speech can stay in the present. If you put the reporting verb in the past, then the story needs to be in the past as well. He said I needed to rest. So, guys, that was a very, very brief explanation of how to use reported speech. You know how to backshift, you know that you have to change the pronouns, and you know not to make that very easy mistake with say or tell. The best way to learn, as always, is to practice. So let's do some practice in the comments below. I want you to imagine that you and your friend had a conversation yesterday about a party. What did your friend tell you? Where might the party be? What time did your friend tell you to arrive? Remember to backshift and remember to change the pronouns when necessary. My next true crime video will cover reported speech, so you will hear me using this in real life scenarios. I'm going to tell a story and I'm going to mention what a lot of witnesses said. So if you want to practice your listening and if you want to see the reported speech being used in action, keep an eye out for my next video. If you want to improve your English, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm always making quick videos like this with short explanations so you can practice from anywhere. Thanks so much for studying with me today, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.